Hello, welcome. It's Rick Baxter with Cost Control Software. Thanks so much for your interest in the Job Manager software. I'm going to try and do a fairly quick demonstration here just to kind of summarize some of the key parts of Job Manager. To do this demonstration, I'm going to start from the kind of the results first, so the back end of the software, and then we'll talk about some of the front end things that you can do as well. So I'm going to go right to our list of jobs. So I'm going to open up a list of jobs, and one of the very first things I want to point out is on this screen. Let me see if I get this centered up here for you. So for our list of jobs, first thing you can see is that we group jobs together. So these 4 or 5 jobs, these 2 jobs, this 1 job, these 2 jobs, those are groups of jobs. And on the right side for each of these jobs, you have that job's budget. So you have budget for hours, you have budget for cost, shop labor cost, field cost, the material cost. If you have outside processing, that would show up here, and then a total estimated cost. So this is all to do with your budgeting and estimating. But below that, you'll see too, move this down just a little bit. So this is the actual side, the actual revenue. That's all the invoices that have come in, all the shop labor costs, that's the employee's time, material costs, that's either from the consumption of the materials out of your inventory or direct purchase of materials. Either way, all the material cost. If there were outside processing like subcontractor cost or heat treating, anything like that, would be applied and added into the current job to date accumulated cost. So the main thing that people tend to look for with a job costing system, in fact, is certainly profitability. What is my revenue? What is my cost? And the difference is my profitability. You can see that here, but you can see it even better on this statistic window. So again, I like to talk from the results first. What do people want out of the software? We'll worry about in a minute how information gets in there. But here is, for example, here's my current budget for labor. There's a current budget for materials, very small, but you get the concept here. So these are the budgets, and then the total budget. And then also notice that we have outstanding amounts. So the committed costs that you have on those POs to your suppliers and subcontractors will show here. Here's the actual cost. So this is actual labor, which, by the way, all these fields, I just click and I can drill down. This is my job ledger entry, so I can see the actual postings that have gone into the job. I just pressed escape to come back. Same for materials if I want to see what was purchased. So some spokes, 2 spokes at this cost, and 10 cans of yellow paint, okay, is all added up there. Press escape and go back. So then it totals these numbers up on the right side. Now the difference is, here's the revenue. That's the job to date revenue, which might be just one invoice or multiple invoices. Adds up, gives me my profit amount and my margin. So down here is my profit percent and my cost each, depending on how many you are producing. Okay, so that's a little peek at the kind of the back end. In other words, the results. What do we want out of the software? Now, how does that information get in there? Well, let's start with the budget. How do you get the budget into the system? We have a nice screen designed specifically for doing your estimating. This is where you can estimate at each category. Now, you'll need to put in your own set of codes. This is just an example, like cutting, welding, painting, assembly, whatever the things are that people do are going to be listed here. You'll want to put that in some sort of kind of logical sequence in which they do the work. And you'll notice in the lower window is what we call the planning lines. This is where you do the estimating of your of this job. You have so many hours for the labor to do the work, and then the materials are listed here as well. So you have not only the estimated hours, but if I scroll to the right a little bit here, you'll see I have $100 of labor cost, pretty small amount, but $100 of labor cost, and here's $304 worth of material, which then totals up to $440.50 for the total estimated cost for cutting. And just think in terms of your own business. So that's the key here, is what are you going to have for your set of codes? So extrapolate what you're seeing here on this estimating worksheet and think in terms of your own codes and what you would have. Now let's go a step further. So that's just a little peek at estimating. Let's talk about the actual card itself. So if we'll open up the job card, this is a little more detail about this job. This is a conveyor service to install a conveyor system. Here is who the customer is. You can have the bill to, you can have a ship to information, contract amounts. The status is open, so this is an in process type job. If I move down a little bit, here's the invoicing, the tasks, the posting. This is all that. And then I want to get down just a little further. I want you to see this is the option to actually have a complete Gantt chart view of this job and the different steps and processes that it will move through on a timeline. So you're going to have a kind of a timeline for this job. This is for the planning and planner one scheduling of this job. Again, we don't lose sight of the costs, estimated cost and actual cost. All of this in very easy to get to views on this given job. Now, one other thing I want to mention is purchasing. So a lot of people want to know, well, how do we handle the purchasing process of the job? So I'm going to go into this purchases BOM lines. This opens up basically the bill of materials for this job. So this is my kind of the parts list, you might say, for this job, everything that I need to buy for this one specific job. And a little more advanced topic is this ability to requisition. Basically, I need to buy the item. So there's a choice up here to fill the requisition and then create our requisition worksheet entries so that I could purchase the materials. Now, if you have these in stock, then you don't need to run this process. But if you need to buy specifically for a job your materials, we provide this very easy to use method to generate all of your purchase orders for materials or subcontractors as well. So I wanted to mention that. So you kind of put all this together and think in terms of the workflow. What would you do workflow wise? This is where it ends up here in the job, but typically you would start from a sales quote. So from a quote area, let's just open up one of these quotes. I'll point out that you could start a quote. This is quote 1010. And then on the line items, you'll see here's my conveyor again. It's one conveyor system for $18,000. And you'll notice the job number is referenced, job number -01, 1010-01 for this job, which got created right from here, which is to make a job for this item. So right from the quote screen, you're able to create a job as well as view that estimating worksheet that we saw earlier. This is the worksheet, and if I need to make any changes to the contract amount, which is over here on the right side, this is the contract amounts for each of these items. I could make changes and then update the sales quote if I needed to do that. So all very interconnected between sales quotes and actually even sales orders as well to the job system. So I wanted to give you a fairly quick overview of the jobs. I hope this kind of gives you some ideas of the look and feel, the movements, the statistic information, the ability to have all these tasks and statistics and estimating and a little bit on scheduling. I showed you some of that. I'm going to encourage you to contact me for a full demonstration. Let's put in one of your jobs. the best way for you to visualize this software is to not see this conveyor system, but I want you to see with one of your jobs and your information, work through posting of maybe some labor, some materials, subcontract costs, whatever the costs are, your set of codes. Let's process one of your jobs. So call me or contact your NAV reseller and schedule an appointment. Thanks so much.